It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. We got 5 people all at once on a podcast today. It's the Bennettarium. Oh yeah, it's the Bennettarium. And it's starting right now. Welcome to the Bennettarium. We are your hosts, Isabella Bunny Bennett and
David Michael Bennett.
And we have our guests today.
Alex.
Camille.
And Chelsea.
Camille and Chelsea. Welcome to episode 27 of the podcast known as Bennettarium.
If you're new to this podcast, there's a few episodes to catch up on, but basically we're the creators of a band called Steam Powered Giraffe, and we started a podcast because
Why not?
Because everyone needs a podcast.
Everyone.
And a few of the guests we have on work for Steam Powered Giraffe in various and sundry aspects.
Do we still count as special guests?
No. You're almost on every podcast.
I don't.
Not
I don't
me.
know.
You too.
Yeah.
Is your name in the podcast? Is this the Penyakattack?
Then I am
Penyakattack.
What would our... Okay, so Bennettarium makes sense, because like it kind of...
There's a T.
What would the Penyaks be?
Bennettarium.
Penyakattack
What
farm.
would our... What ends with
Penyak
the...
Is
farm.
there
K
some
sound?
podcast Penyak type sound that could work?
Penyakatorium.
Penyakatorium. Yeah.
Penyakatori.
I like yak farm.
Yak farm?
Yak farm.
Why?
Because it's yak.
Yep.
Okay.
If you're noticing some white noise, it's because we're using a 5th microphone.
And it's not as dynamic as the rest of these. Let's see. This is like these are SM58s that we're using for normal stuff, and that big one over there is a Sennheiser 9 something other, and it's usually used for like pretty much everything. They use it for like Foley sounds, and you see it on like the TV sets where they're trying to capture audio in the scene. It's a good boom mic. Probably not the best choice for a podcast, but
That's what we got, and we don't normally have 5 people.
but
on.
Alex's voice will sound really really great because it's
Yes, it will.
yeah. It's like ours will be a little more bassier. His will be a little more treble-ier.
Oh.
So the definition's a little higher.
Yeah.
I think.
Also, their podcast would be called Penyakattack, and they would just scream.
Oh my god! See, that's not fair though, because you were taking all this time to think about that.
It's fine.
You're just biding your time.
Penyakattack.
They would just be screaming in the mic for about an hour.
Well,
nonstop.
Let's start
Get
with some
ready.
questions, maybe.
Yes.
Well, first let's start with news. Huh?
that is a question. You did ask one.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna dictate
what do you
here and
think?
say,
Okay.
let's start with news.
News.
Starting in chronological
Oh,
order.
it's a Penyakattack. I don't know.
So, what are you all up to in June this next coming month?
Is
I
it
don't
May
know.
right now? It's
oh,
May.
I don't know.
May
Maybe
30th.
take a walk on the beach.
It's May 30th right now as we are talking. Some of you probably listened to this in the month of June or years from now.
There's only one more May Day this year.
May Day.
Tomorrow.
That's like a thing people shout when their plane is going down. Is that a thing? What is
Yeah.
it? May Day.
Yeah.
May Day.
That's
Or
a
is
candy
that
bar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that's payday.
It's peanuts and caramel.
Wait, is it a naval thing?
It's both.
Oh, we should be asking. Wait.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we gotta include
Yeah,
everyone
Alex
today.
works-
Everyone has to talk.
Works at the Captain Crunch cereal factory, so he knows all the naval.
Naval.
And I just spoiled the fact that they're going to come out with another plane-based cereal, I guess.
There's
Also
already
called
too much in the
Captain
market. We already like our. Oh, come on here. What's the name of the cereal?
Jumbo Jet Jacks. And
That just sounds like. That just sounds like Jack in the Box hamburgers.
what? There's Apple Jacks. That's what I was going with.
Let's just hope
Jumbo
that-
Jet Jack.
Well, it's just Captain Crunch, and they just gave him a different costume. That's all. Still works.
It took me.
No. Come on, let's think
It
about
took
these
me,
cereal.
like
Captain
many.
Crunch. Wait.
It took me many years to realize that Captain Crunch was in the shape of treasure chests. I just
What?
thought-
I never knew
yeah,
that.
No, they're
yeah,
not.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. are.
BS.
I
I don't
mean,
believe you.
what?
Guys,
Obviously-
I got it.
Can someone look
Sky
that
Captain Crunch and the World of Tomorrow.
up? Wait, can someone Google that so I can see a piece of these? Where's our?
I mean, they
where's our
look like
Googler?
blobs, but they're supposed to be.
Captain Crunch. I thought it was just circles.
No, they're treasure
No.
chests.
They're like little.
Ridges.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're not treasure chests.
Yes, they are.
They're like pillows with grooves. They're like corduroy pillows, right?
Yeah, I always thought they looked like pillows, but no, they're supposed to be treasure
'Cause he's
chests,
sleepy.
I thought.
So we have a new live stream coming
I'm not
at you.
Done. Talking about Captain Crunch.
Uh-oh.
It's one of those things that like you realize way later.
It's a
and you're
Bennettarium.
really embarrassed.
My whole world is being uplifted, and you want to talk about our upcoming live stream?
I know Sky Captain Crunch is a.
I don't even know what I'm googling.
Where's Captain Crunch's treasure?
I'm like on the Wikipedia page learning like all about Captain Crunch and like his early life and
What is early life? Is he a
how
real
he
person?
became a captain and
he has a backstory. He's been around for a while.
Who's voiced by one of those voice actors that did Rocky and Bullwinkle?
yeah.
What's his name?
Captain Crunch.
A
Yeah,
captain
something like that.
isn't a captain without the zany twist of Miracle Whip. I don't know what the slogan was.
But no, it was that. Yeah, I have the voice in my head.
Welcome to the only page I know of that has a serious collection of Captain Crunch links, pictures, and an illustrated story.
His voice does sound a lot better than ours.
If you've never heard
Yeah.
of Captain Crunch before, you should read this. Otherwise, enjoy the links.
I mean, everyone could just Google it.
he was
I
born
mean.
on Crunch Island in the Sea of Milk.
Soggy's
Sounds
dead.
horrible. It's like rotten by now.
Yeah. Or could it be soy milk or almond milk? Not back then. Not back then. It wasn't.
Okay, I can't find anything to back up my claim, but like
I suppose you just pulled that out of thin air.
no.
Well, you can spend the rest of the podcast trying to find a source for your blatant lies.
So in June we have a live video performance coming
Live
at
on
you.
video.
Do we have a title for this performance?
It's called Steam Powered Giraffe live YouTube concert because our name's long enough, and to fit on the YouTube thing, you need like the shortest title.
But
So I
basically,
think our band name is the most important thing.
but basically, we're creating a little show, and it's gonna be summer themed. So, get your beach wear out while you're watching.
And although we'll be playing,
we
we'll
won't
be playing
see you,
Steam
but-
Powered Giraffe songs, but we'll also obviously we'll be playing some of the standards, some of the more favorites. We'll have some new stuff too, but it'll be slightly different than
What date on
a live
June?
show. It's a good question.
I have no idea.
We should.
Saturday, June 17th.
It's going to be at 1
someone
p.m.
knows.
Pacific. Is it still daylight time?
It's daylight savings right now.
So it'll be PDT. So if you're going to
Or
look that
just
up,
PT.
Oh.
Or just PT.
PT just implies that you don't.
Well,
I don't know.
no.
I don't know
Okay,
what daylight
so
savings time is.
In
so
the winter, we use PST because that means Pacific
Right.
Standard Time.
and then now we
Lately,
use
I've
Pacific
just-
Daylight Time. P.
Oh, okay.
I've just been putting PT, so it
PT,
doesn't matter.
Pacific
Yeah, if you
time.
put PT, then it's like universal.
People can
Yeah.
usually use like
That's what I do.
world time converters and stuff to just.
But if you
it
put in the
automatically
wrong
does
one,
it.
like PST or PD, it's usually will give them the wrong.
Your phone
Well,
can
well,
usually
actually-
figure it out these days.
If you just put PT, it'll figure it out.
some of them will
Wherever
say
you
like
are,
if you're meaning to that the current time.
Yeah.
They usually warn you if you got the wrong one.
But at any rate, there'll be a countdown on YouTube, and you can follow that.
So
the
Saturday,
events,
June
it's not
17th
Yes.
at 1 p.m. It'll be our summer bash.
We don't have an advertisement for this yet, or on the YouTube.
I'm
on
working
the YouTube
on
channel.
it. I've been on vacation.
You heard
But
it
by
here
the
first.
by the time you listen to this podcast a week from now or whatever, it should be up, and you'll be able to plan that Saturday afternoon around that, or
Yeah.
morning or night, depending on where you are in the world.
And if this little summer bash isn't your thing, well, we are going to a few places live in person.
Which is always better than watching something on the screen. I think our first thing this summer is our appearance in Illinois
Yes. Rosemont, Illinois.
at
Basically Chicago.
Chicago.
That's July 7th, I believe.
Yes. Let me double check on that.
But Anime Midwest, it's an anime convention, a pretty big one too.
I'm looking forward to that. I always enjoy that one.
We usually have a concert I believe it's on Saturday evening.
The 8th.
I think Steam Powered Giraffe's going on around 9 p.m.
Yeah.
But there's other bands. There'll be two, I think. Frenchie and the Punk will be one of them. I can't remember what the other one is.
So
off the
yeah,
top of my
that's
head.
the weekend of July 7th to 9th. We'll be there.
We'll also have panels that weekend if you're in
Autograph
Chicago.
sessions, panels,
Autographs.
selling merch.
It's always a fun time at the Anime Midwest.
Oh yeah.
After Anime Midwest, we have our own show here in San Diego
During
County,
the week of Comic Con, it'll be on the Thursday,
which is July
20th.
July 20th. We'll be in.
Someone knows.
Yeah, at least someone knows
My
because I don't
job.
remember. But yeah, it's in the Escondido Performing Arts Center. It's a little bit of a drive from downtown San Diego.
About half an
but
hour if you're, but account
I
for
think
traffic.
you'll appreciate that there's not going to be as much
Yes.
traffic over there, and it's a really nice little theater.
Yeah.
And there's lots of restaurants and stuff over there, so you can get away from the Comic Con.
And there's a movie theater right across the street, so
Yeah.
you can.
Have our own Comic-Con.
Right.
What movies are coming out that week?
I don't know.
Alex, no. What movie's coming out that week?
The
Well,
nuggets themselves
plan-
are
let's
pillow-shaped. Striated in a way that has always thought is supposed to echo parental treasures or something.
Okay, well,
Wait,
anyway.
what?
Yay!
They're pillowcases? What?
So this very vague sentence on his website, the nuggets themselves are pillow-shaped and vaguely striated in a way that he has always thought is supposed to echo pirate treasures or something.
What?
Sounds fishy to me.
So
I think Camille is wrong.
I think
Honestly,
they're, I think
it's
they're
not very
just genetically
clear.
engineered to
It
cut the
doesn't
roof of your mouth. I
confirm
think
or
that's what.
deny. Well, it's all about
very vague.
why they're shaped that way because it makes them easy to cook and other stuff.
Well, that makes sense.
and then
But
at the end of it, it says they're shaped like molars, and then it just goes from
Ew.
there.
It sounds like they didn't have a good justification for why they look like that.
Okay, so maybe I was.
You know, what
wrong.
about the crunch
But who
berries?
can
Those
say?
are just berries.
Those are just circles.
So are the peanut butters.
I don't like Crunch Berries. I just like plain Captain Crunch.
Peanut
I like
butter.
peanut butter,
Peanut butter.
Captain Crunch.
Oh, that is pretty good.
It
It's
is.
the best. But it tears up your mouth.
To be fair, I haven't eaten any of that crappy cereal.
I haven't. I don't eat cereal. What? So after our Comic Con show, we'll move on into.
Got a bit of
August.
a break. Yeah.
We might have another show in July, but we can't announce anything.
Yeah.
So
That was one of our questions from a fan. Any new events you haven't disclosed yet? That was their
There's-
question.
there's
And
always
there
new
al-
events.
there's
There's
always something we can't
just
talk
have to.
about.
We always wait to the last minute to
Yeah.
announce something. I mean, we've only had a few events like cancel on us, but over the years, maybe I think 2 or 3.
Yeah, once contracts are signed and stuff, then we can announce it. Otherwise, there's a risk that'll get canceled, and that's happened in the past before.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got lots of events on the horizon.
August, obviously, we'll be going back to the UK at the end of it.
Yeah. End our
Yay.
summer on a. Is end summer August? That makes sense.
It depends on where.
Here in San Diego, it's hot till like October.
Yeah.
It'll be a reprieve for us. We'll be in
Love
Lincoln,
it.
Lincolnshire,
Yeah.
for the Asylum Steampunk Festival. It's really cool. There's a castle.
Yeah, the Asylum Steampunk Festival. We were there last year, and we're happy to have been asked to return.
Yes.
We'll have a concert on. I think it's on a Sunday night concert.
I think it's Sunday, yeah.
So that would be the 27th,
the
probably.
27th.
August 27th is probably, as far as we know right now, that's because last year our big concert was on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So August 27th, but we don't have like a big official schedule and itinerary.
I think
of our
they've announced
weekend
the concert night, which I think is that Sunday.
Yeah.
And we have other stuff, panels and autograph sessions and stuff. But they'll
More
announce
details
that
to
too.
come.
But it's a fun event. And it's the only chance you're going to be able to see Steam Powered Giraffe if you are not in the United States.
Yeah. After that, in September, we'll be going back to Illinois, but we'll be going to Lockport, Illinois for
It's about 4 hours away from Chicago.
yeah, where they're doing their steampunk summer
4
event.
hours away? No,
Oh,
it's not 4 hours away.
it's like 6?
Oh no, like I'd say an hour or so.
Nuh-uh.
Lockport, it's south of Chicago, but it's not a long drive.
We're going to...
Well, we're
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
in
yeah,
Lockport. I can't remember the date,
Look
but
it up.
it's in
What's
September.
the date? You can look that up. I'll look at
So
that.
that show will be September 23rd, Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about it for
For
everything
now,
we
I
have
mean,
for now. Yeah.
Everything else is in the future. And
You're right, it's
pending,
about an
but we're really
6
excited.
hours.
Everyone's fact checking each other.
We go to a lot of places. It's hard to remember. One of these
I
places is
know.
4 hours from
I
somewhere.
don't trust these guys. They're- what do they know? So that's our show. We're also proud to announce that we have a vinyl that we're going to be producing. We're taking pre-orders right now. We don't have a release date yet.
We're thinking the latest by November. It takes a while to manufacture vinyls. I know we talked about this on the podcast before, but we wanted to reiterate that yes, we have vinyls for pre-order. The manufacturing process will start as soon as we have enough pre-orders, and it'll be music from Steam World Heist, which is the perfect size album for our first run of vinyl.
And the creators wanted a vinyl too. They thought it would be really cool, so we're like, okay, let's do it.
All of you holding out for other albums, if you order this one, then hopefully we'll be able to make other albums as vinyl.
Yeah, supporting this one will help
But
make
this
others
one
possible.
is the one that's possible right now.
Yeah, if it
thanks
doesn't sell,
to
then we
the creators.
won't revisit vinyls for quite some time.
But yeah, we have it's a soundtrack to the video game we helped with the music on, and it also but the best part about it is it has some older songs that we redid with Samuel Luke and who was in the band at the time of the album. So it's a mix of old and new, and it's the perfect size. The other albums would take 2 discs, and well, it just wasn't a good start to go in on a bigger vinyl release right from the get-go.
Well, you can't fit much on a vinyl.
Nah,
Like,
45 minutes in.
Steam
That's
World
like
Heist
stretching
is
it.
your shortest album, so it only made sense.
Yeah. But if you want more, I know they're not super in demand, but we get questions from them all the time. So if you want to see more vinyls, order this one, and then we'll.
I think without a release date, I don't think people are gonna pull the trigger.
Well, we said November we'll order them eventually when it comes down to it. But mostly it's because it takes so long to manufacture, and if there's an error in the manufacturing process, that can delay it significantly because it takes a long time to get the masters done and all that.
Well, be sure to support us on our vinyl endeavor. Should be a really good album when it's all said and done. I think that's pretty much all the
Steam
news.
Powered Giraffe
That's
related?
it for news.
Did you? Now we're taking questions.
Sure, I have a few.
Okay, so Captain Crunch, we found out that they're not treasure chests. I mean, that's just well wishing.
It's up to interpretation.
I mean, no. I mean,
Unless you knew the captain.
unless the captain was. We'll get the captain on.
They were built
Well-
to float, apparently.
What?
What?
They do float.
They're meant to float.
They're meant to
right?
float.
Oh.
They say they didn't want to do spheres or pillows or flakes because they didn't want them to sink in the
I
milk.
see.
So they're life rafts.
Mm-hmm. Shaped like molars, I guess.
That's so weird.
Captain Crunch.
What's the crunch?
This kind of always kind of sounds like.
Quaker also makes a
my
cereal called
boy.
King Vitamin. I learned that
What?
today also.
They what?
There's a cereal called King Vitamin.
You learned so much.
I learned a lot
Sounds
today.
delicious.
off of Camille's outrageous claims.
Sounds like children are going
learning
crazy
a
over
lot.
King
Shaped
Vitamin
like
cereal.
pills.
What? No, they're just like flakes, I guess.
You're welcome.
So Chelsea.
I have 3
I'm
Steam
sorry.
Powered Giraffe related questions, and then we can
Well,
move on
how about
to
we get
whatever.
some from the fans instead? I know you have a lot of questions, but let's get from the.
Okay.
You don't get that one? Or?
No, I got it. I just don't know if
Can-
I'm
can we
supposed to
cut?
laugh or not. I didn't.
Can we cut? Can we?
Well, when
the
something's funny. I guess you could.
All
All
right.
right, I'm gonna,
We'll
I'm gonna
keep that
ask
in
my
mind.
questions. I'm asking my 3 questions that I pulled from
it's
Twitter.
started.
First one we were kind of talking about before we started recording. Would you consider updating the playing cards so they include 0 in the current Walter Workers? For anyone who doesn't know, I think we sold our last deck of cards in late 2015, so we haven't had them for quite a
These
while.
are just like regular playing cards,
Yeah.
like you would play any playing cards with, like.
They
They're
were
pretty popular.
they were very popular at conventions and events where people get together. And
But we
they
had a
time to
lot, and it
play.
took a long time to sell.
We also that's because we sold 2 different versions. We had the
Yeah.
MK3 Collector's Edition version, which was slightly different than the
And
one
you
that
had
followed.
a lot.
Yeah.
We
We were
never
still selling those really recently.
that was the shipment. We never reordered them while I was working with you guys.
It was the cards were so popular initially. I think we
You had a
were
lot.
like, let's bring in more, and then it started slowing down.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if it's been over a year now. It's been almost 2 years since we sold them. I think if you brought some back but didn't order as many, they would.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a problem selling them.
I was thinking maybe I want to do completely different artwork
Yeah.
style. I'm thinking
Yeah.
like maybe making it look like in the style of like playing cards. You know
That'd
what I
be
mean?
cool.
Yeah,
Like
that'd be
so it's
really
kind of
neat.
like
Yeah.
flat and everything.
That'd
The-
be cool.
Yeah, that flat.
I might
look.
do that. I might
So
do
we're
that.
like, so it's and it doesn't matter what side it's.
And
Yeah,
there's-
I would do that. I mean,
mean,
we did that with the old one, but they were more 3D cartoon.
Yeah, yeah.
we
looking.
could yeah, we could like add the new Walter workers.
There's
we could
been
add
a lot
Zero.
of new albums.
There's new
There's new
characters.
characters. You could do like a whole new set of characters.
You could do a character for every number.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Good.
Well,
Wow.
that's
I
actually
know.
intimidating. Then,
Well, actually, that's 52 people.
I mean,
Well, no, I mean, you could just-
probably make an entire Vice Squad.
they could just
deck.
share the
Yeah.
share the numbers.
Share load.
We'll see. We'll see what we come up with.
Oh yeah, you're right. They could.
But this is gonna be it's a long project. The last time I was streaming the art, and it took like half a year to get it done. I
Wow.
think it's just a lot of work.
I would love to like design a deck of tarot cards, but that's like 78 cards. It's a lot of art. But
We
I
could
always
do
thought
that.
it'd be fun to do cards. Yeah. Anyway.
So the answer was maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we'll get to it. We're trying to revisit some older products that we kind of give some time before we come out with the next series.
Yeah.
Most people buy CDs from bands, so that's why. That's all
It's
we're-
good to like if something sells out, it's good to let some time go by because now we've got brand new fans who weren't around when we sold
Right.
cards. There's new interest.
I'm sure you can buy it on eBay for $200.
We're working on a new button series too, slowly. So that'll be
those are popular.
if we can get if I can get that out for the summer, that'd be nice. It's not too hard.
Camille and I can always tell you guys what's popular at conventions at the table. Definitely
we'll,
buttons and
we'll have
cards.
T-shirts as well. We try to get them in
yeah.
stock by at least winter. Not sure if we'll have them in stock by summer.
We
but-
had them in July last year. I don't know if that'll happen again, but
Yeah.
we try.
The main thing is we sit on apparel for so long, and it only gets sold by winter. So it's like one of
Yeah.
those like it's kind of a gamble for us. Like,
It's hard too. I mean, before we order apparel, every time I sit down and I try and look at the numbers of what we sold last time and figure out how many of each size we need. And sometimes you can't predict what people are going to buy, and we end up selling out of certain sizes immediately, and then others will sit on for half a year. So it's always a gamble.
That's why we've done pre-orders of the T-shirts in the past, which really helps.
But I mean, we usually with new designs we'll do pre-orders just to make sure that people want the design.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys have a new Walter Robotics logo now, and that might be a cool logo to
It's been a while
revisit.
since we've made those shirts.
I
would be interested in doing another T-shirt design.
would wear one of those at the table.
The Walter Worker?
The
Yeah.
Walter Robotics logo, the
Yeah.
new one. Yeah.
We get something like that, and then they'll be like, "Oh, but I want the old one." That's
Well, we have to get both, which would be.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
We'll see.
that's not a
T-shirts
bad
are
idea.
expensive.
When we travel, people always want apparel.
yeah.
Of course.
We'll see. There's lots of stuff. I have some ideas for a new T-shirt design, but I don't know.
This is a good question. What's the most difficult part of touring and performing?
I would say travel, I guess.
Yeah, especially on the way back, it can be
Keeping yourself hydrated
Yes.
when you're not in an airport.
No, seriously. I mean, if I don't consciously keep myself hydrated and drinking water constantly on a flight, when we land, I have a super migraine.
Yeah, travel's just I don't know because it's usually in the air, and you go into a different environment that has different weather, and I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a shock to the system usually.
Climate can mess you up, sinuses and all that stuff. I don't know if you're really
Sometimes it's
sensitive.
fine, but sometimes I mean, especially when you go to something like the UK,
Yeah.
it's a big. You're on a plane for.
I like traveling. I like moving from one point to another. Mentally it's refreshing, but the actual physical act of traveling in a plane and stuff is so taxing.
I don't like sitting, so it's painful. That's
Yeah.
why I don't like travel.
I think performing wise, it's just the makeup is always the most difficult part.
Yeah.
It can be uncomfortable to put it on early in the morning depending on our schedule. And
Yeah, we've had some really long days that have been hard.
The one in recent memory that stands out is Akon, just because
Yeah.
our show was at noon. So we were up I was up at 6 to start my day. It was,
I think anyone who has to apply makeup in some sense like that it's because it's not just I'm making my eyes look pretty or lips or something. It's the minute you have to paint your whole face, it takes a significant amount of effort and time.
Your skin feels great after you take it off, though. It's
I mean, there's the reason why so many performers in movies and stuff complain about the it took 4 hours, or we got it down to an hour, but it's like, well, it's still an hour, and you have 6 people working on it. Like, we don't do that. We obviously do our own stuff.
It's exhausting. It's time consuming and exhausting.
But I know as a fan, if you hear that, you're like, oh, are they not going to do the makeup? I'm like, no, obviously we are. We know what people like about the act. It is the suckiest part of it, obviously.
It's never been different. Since we started, it's always been the hardest part.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because, I mean, I always have the thing of, I'll see other bands and they don't have to do that. And we're like, oh, so you just got out of bed an hour before the show. And you go, oh, we can't do that. I mean, obviously, I don't think many other bands do that. But if I could cut out that 2-3 hours of getting ready, then obviously my life would be easy.
And then I guess if we had makeup artists working on us, it would be a little bit easier, but...
But then you don't have the freedom of I don't know, like I could go grab a coffee and kind of like wait till the last minute to start my makeup, and if I had someone doing it for me, I would feel like I have to be there on time and do
I'd have someone do it for me. We've done it for 10 years. I don't need I'm done doing it myself. You know what I mean? I don't mind doing it, but if we ever get we're not going to, but if we ever get to the point where money's not a problem, then
I guess
I would be like, yeah, let's pay someone to put it on so I can just zone out.
I can't imagine that happening.
Because I think most people would probably want us to focus on the performing, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot. You can exhaust yourself a little bit putting on makeup.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. We shouldn't be complaining.
Well, they asked what the worst. It's like obviously the job's great, and the travel in the makeup is probably the hardest part.
It does make it feel like work. I guess it does. I mean, it's fun, but it's fun. It's hard to describe because until you do something for a living that you like everything becomes work eventually.
Yeah, and I mean, there really isn't much that I don't like about traveling and performing. The only things that are hard are the, like I said, the physical act of traveling and being in cars and that kind of stuff that drains you physically. Yeah. Like nothing else about it is bad.
Yeah, I think actually the performing and all that stuff we look forward to that
yeah.
stuff. I mean, I don't look forward to doing the taxes or the finances or ordering merchandise and stuff like that. The stuff that occupies our time most of the time is the meh crap job part. But the performing part, there's not too much to complain about.
Nope.
I'd take that over running the business any day of the week.
Well, I got one more question that's kind of in the same vein. What strategies do you use to juggle and prioritize everything that needs to be done? How do you stay organized and motivated? So how do you juggle or figure out what needs to be done first in the business, I guess?
Well, I guess
the things that can't go undone,
projects
like
as well as
finances and booking and shows and
Once
the live
again,
act always take priority.
The boring stuff.
What is going to make us money? Unfortunately, I mean, just like any. But it's not something that you go in knowing. It's since we grew so slowly, we kind of saw like what made us money and what didn't. So that's why the stuff that some people like sometimes doesn't make us money. So obviously we put out albums and stuff because that's what bands do and that's what people like to support. But I mean, if we could, I think we would do lots of other stuff. But it's just you kind of have to follow the money a little bit. So I think that's kind of how we run the business. Is what's important? Oh, we're going to come out with an album or
the
something.
Live show.
Yeah, the live show,
the comics, and all the rest of the stuff that it
can fall by the wayside because we're not going to make any money off of it, even if we finish it. And it's not going to be much even if we...
Yeah, and I mean, we're planning to keep doing this for a long time, so I never feel like, oh, gosh, we have to get this out right now. Like, of course I want to, but there's only so many of us to work on all these things, so it's like we have to put our priorities somewhere.
And I know as a fan, they're like, well, why don't they bring other people on? I'm like, well, we do. We have other people in the band. There's 7. There's 6 people,
last year we did pour a lot of effort into the comic, and with the help of Gabby and Sam, and we were able to push it forward past a hump. So I mean, that was good, but it still takes time.
Yeah,
it took Sam energy, and he was a band member, and Gabby has so much other work to do. It took time from her.
I mean, it all comes down to a question of money. I mean, like because if something gets popular enough, like say Steam Powered Giraffe or something, if there was money flowing in, of course we could hire someone full time to pump out this stuff. But we're not in that position.
It's also the same with like videos. I think it's more like because videos are kind of like, I mean, we kind of have to do them. Yeah. But we can't do as many as we want just because they're giant productions.
Yeah.
They're hard.
I mean, I'm
to
still
create.
working on stuff from last year. We still have other music videos that are in the pipe. It's
kind of what we were talking about yesterday, though, about how it's like you don't exist in this day and age if you don't have a presence on YouTube. basically.
Yeah, I mean that stuff takes forever. It's like
hard.
we can't just keep pumping them out.
Yeah.
If it was the only thing we did, yeah, we could have weekly stuff. But I mean, there's so much to there's so much that the band does that it's not. We're not a YouTube content creator. We're also a band. We also perform live. So if we didn't do live shows, yeah, then we could make more content for the internet. But I wouldn't say we're stretching ourselves thin. We're stretching ourselves as far as we're comfortable with. And as from a fan's point of view, it probably will never
be enough.
Right. But that's just the reality of being a
niche
band.
It would be cool if we had like a whole team but then okay, where's the money come from? No one's gonna do this stuff for free. And if they do it for free, it's like, well, it gets very complicated real fast. I mean, we want to do most of the things ourselves, but it's not to say that we couldn't find someone who has an eye for the stuff like we do, and we can put it into their hands.
Yeah, sure.
But if you're good at something, you can get paid. You're gonna get money. It's gonna cost money.
And I mean, it's not like we all started out not making money doing the act, so we've gotten to the point where we can pay the people that are in the group for their work. But
yeah, we'd have to grow a little more, I think, to be able to.
But we've been saying that for years, so I think we're still growing. But like, I think we've reached our limit on. I can't, because we wouldn't have enough work for someone even if we did have the money to hire them.
Right. I mean, just what our act is and stuff. It's not like YouTube's gonna thrive suddenly because people usually just want music videos. We have supplemental content like little fun videos here and there, and then we put the podcast up just for
extra
fun
content. Well, because some people, that's how they want to listen to it. For some reason.
I wasn't gonna say. I was trying.
I
Can I say that?
What?
No, if you
Yeah,
have
you
to question
can.
it, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I was
gonna say it.
It was just an expression.
Shits and giggles.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can say it.
But yeah, it's like if we can't put out like easy content. Like this podcast is work, but it's still like a lot easier than making a whole music video.
Yeah.
I mean, this podcast takes a whole day. Not the recording part, but putting it up afterwards always takes me. Like I always feel like I never plan anything else on a podcast day because it literally takes me the rest of the day to get it all up. And it's such a weird thing because it's like it doesn't seem like much work, but then when you do it, you're like, oh, it's already 6 p.m. and now it's up, but it took all day. And it's not hard work. It's just it takes someone to do it. And that is a job that someone could do, but that would only be one day a week that someone would have a job.
It's like all the little things that we could technically hire someone to do isn't enough work for it to be worth it for someone.
Yeah.
If you're only getting paid for like 2 hours a week from us, why would you do it?
And that's why we do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Is because we can divide our time a little bit, but unfortunately that does mean our time's divided.
Yeah. I mean, maybe one day it'll evolve into something that we can't comprehend right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like the internet's changing, and how we're trying to have a presence that can exist in this day and age. So, but as a band, like you're really just supposed to put out a music video every 2 years and an album,
and we're trying to do a little bit more than that. I mean, with a band, it's hard to keep the attention of your audience until you come out with an album or something, or you're going to a live show. Like, it's not the same as like, oh, my favorite YouTube channel, they released a video this week, I can't wait. Like,
right, like some gaming YouTubes and stuff. It's like, well, if you have a team of players who are
I only follow them
content
for the honest trailers, but like Smosh Games upload something every single day, and I have to wade through all the stuff I don't care about to get to the
only the honest trailers. Everything else is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of channels like that. We would have to.
And I'm like, there's an audience for all this? Like, I can't believe it, but I guess
let's look at the
so.
view
It's
numbers.
just- there's
Everyone's
just a lot.
subscribing
Yeah.
to those honest trailers. The other stuff is supplemental.
I mean, I'm sure it helps them somehow,
Yeah.
But I mean, we could do. We almost did something like that. We had some of David's game streams, which are funny. We have, I have content like that we could put up and stuff like. But it's just like people kind of complain like this isn't Steam Powered Giraffe, but it's like, well, I don't know.
I mean, it's the same thing, I mean, if we release something with the robots doing something, like some people just want more music videos. I mean, we'll never be able to appease anyone. But the idea is that the content lives on. So
yeah.
if someone's new coming in, that they have years worth of stuff to wade through.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, obviously we have a lot of projects in the works right now, and some of them will be releasing soon, and some will take a lot longer. So yeah, but it's just really what's priority, and obviously the live show comes first, and the finances, and making sure we have product to sell.
But it's a lot of it's unique to just the band. I don't know how much applies to any other company. I mean, or anything.
Yeah.
But we're just a little
you have like
more
a creative side to it.
The internet stuff is just it's kind of the new frontier. I don't know, business.
Right. it meshes like the creative stuff. Like you do have to see that from a business perspective because you have to figure out what the audience wants to see.
But for as far as the question goes, like obviously it takes, you can't be a procrastinator, and I think owning your own business, it keeps the fire lit under you because you want to eat, you want to pay rent.
Right.
So there's a little, and I don't know, I think Bunny and I have enough anxiety with that it keeps us going, not like in a negative way, but just in a way like we don't just slack off. Like I feel bad after a day of not working, but I think that's just repetition, you know. If you've been doing it for 10 years, like it feels weird not to work. Work, you know, that could be anything. The podcast is work, but it's fun work to some degree. Yeah. But I don't know. We should have updated on we filmed a concert last year. When Sam was still in the band, and it was like no audience. It was just like in a room, and that's coming out soon.
Yeah. No date yet though.
Yeah, it's an interesting little thing we shot. So
that's been taken. I haven't been working on it since we shot it, but in my free time I always set aside a few days out of the week to work on it, and I finally finished all the audio. So now it's just the video.
Oh. Not SPG related, but was just thinking of things that have happened since the last podcast. You all went to the Ren Fair last weekend, right?
I think we did. Was it last weekend?
Yes.
How
Saturday
was it?
Last weekend.
Hot? Not performing?
Oh, it was the hottest day.
Yeah,
I
not
think so hot.
performing. You guys just went to enjoy it.
I think it was 96 at the hot.
Oh my
at the,
god.
Well, we got there and it was hot when we got there. It was hottest when we were walking to the fair. Once we got inside, it wasn't that
There's
bad.
more shade.
You
And
have
stuff.
shade.
There's shade and water, and we ate ice first, lemon ice first.
I mean, it was hot. I mean, it was pretty. I always felt like, am I gonna be able to survive? But once we got in the fair, I was like, my body's stronger than I think.
I mean, we drank an enormous amount of water, and
Oh yeah, I paid like at least
I
$40
had
an
time.
hour.
At least
You
$50
sent
on
me
water.
a picture, like made it to the Ren Fair, and I could like see the sweat just pouring
Oh,
down
it
your
was
face. I was like,
terrible.
oh gosh,
It was so hot.
please drink water.
I put so much sunscreen on my head, but my scalp, but most of it sweated off, and there was no way to reply it because it was so wet. And then I got sunburn on my head, anyways. So
yeah.
But we had a good time. We got to see. I think that was the best joust we've seen.
That was
ever.
They started using like blood effects. Like sometimes they'd use like streamers for the last joust of the day, which is
Oh.
called Joust to the Death. But this time they had they pumped.
They had blood packs.
Yeah, blood
Yeah.
packs that I think they would shoot out of
Into
their
their
arms.
wrist, I think.
Yeah.
So
Oh
they
my
did
God.
a few
Hold
different,
on.
like the one guy
I'll be right back.
with the 2x4 like in his
Hit him in the
face.
Yeah, hit him in
face.
the
He must have like
face.
put his.
Yeah.
Yeah, they smashed one of the squires against the jousting posts and broke it.
And they left blood
Left the
splat.
blood
It was
splat
really
on
good.
it and actually knocked it down. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And the
They're
actual,
pretty talented.
yeah, the actual joust itself went really well. Like they there was like 4 impalements of the shields.
Yeah.
That's just
And
amazing.
our jouster won.
Yeah, I just
That was cool.
Sir Maximilian.
Sir Maximilian.
Yeah.
I hear some of the jousters are fans of Steam Powered Giraffe.
Because
we performed the weekend before.
No, I mean
at
they're
the Ren Fair.
they hired us for the Ren Fair. Yeah, they run the whole kit and caboodle.
That's cool.
They're fans. Yeah, it's really cool. We had a good time, and we saw Brune, who's a staple there as well. And I hadn't seen his show, but Gabby said,
Yeah,
It was
Bruno was
great.
fun. We saw Mooney last year, right?
yeah, Mooney was
Mooney's
good
always good. Yeah, those shows are good. Food was pretty good too.
Yeah, we had
Food.
some.
Yeah, that one I think in this area is the just largest one physically, right?
Yes, largest Ren Fair. It's really
Yeah.
fun. There's a lot of stuff. We
We
caught
did-
the end of the Falcon show.
Falcon
we
show.
saw little Falcon babies.
We all lost the turtle race.
We lost the turtles.
I think David's turtle got the furthest, right? Me and your turtle just kind of like hung out.
She was starting, but then she just kind of stopped.
There was
It's
one-
not really for the prize. It's more you're paying for the fun of watching turtles.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, Gabby and I won the turtle race
Like the first time you won,
previous
right?
year. We won like everything, and we didn't even pay for it. There was just this guy that was seeing a bunch of girls, and he was like, "I want to do something nice," and then we ended up winning and taking all the coins, and he was not too happy.
Yep. Well,
There was one turtle that was just sitting there with his head out, but all of his legs were inside his shell still, just hanging out there. Did that. Then we did what? We did crossbows for a little bit,
We
right?
did crossbows. Those are hard.
Yeah, that was. Well,
I mean, they were like toy kind of.
Yeah,
they weren't like
toy
real
crossbows, and then they had to put rubber stopper. I didn't see that they put rubber stoppers on the end of them, so it adds weight to the front. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, they didn't really fly.
It was fun though.
Tension was it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have. The Ren Fair for me is once a year thing, maybe at
Yeah.
most. And if it wasn't as hot, I would have had a better time.
Yeah,
That was the hottest.
that was the hottest.
We went a couple weekends before, and it was a lot cooler.
It was really cool. But at least it's right on the water, so we get a little bit of that. But yeah, it was a good
cool
time.
Maybe
Very
we'll come
nice.
back next year. Maybe we'll perform next
Cold
year. Who
day.
knows?
The thing about the Ren Fair is you have to like dressing up. That's the reason. I think that's the draw for me.
Yeah.
Like, I like dressing up in a costume that I don't usually get to wear and walking around and then leaving.
Good
Yeah.
time. Yeah, you two were getting lots of compliments for your costumes as we were walking around.
Well,
and all that
Gabby
stuff.
and Bunny, because it looks, compared to everyone else's costumes, you're the more, you know what I mean?
We got a lot of compliments on our crew.
I got a few, but when I'm next to you guys, I don't look as impressive as I usually do.
Your costume is great.
Because people like crazy makeup, and I was just a normal person.
I mean, we saw the robe and
Yeah,
shin armor and all that stuff.
it's cool. But when I'm right next to Gabby and Bunny at a Ren Fair, it's not.
I
there's
wasn't
no
wearing
contest.
too much makeup. I was just wearing bird skull and Xena armor. So, did anyone see any? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. What were you gonna say?
Anyone seen any movies?
No, but me and Camille are going to see Wonder Woman Thursday night.
Oh,
Oh,
is that
yeah.
coming out?
Yeah, it's getting good reviews. The embargo just lifted last night, and
It's like
it's good.
It's
The
getting like
reception's pretty good.
70 to 80%.
Oh, wow.
Reviews.
Hold on.
Should we? No, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I hear
Well,
most
I can
say
see
it's the best of
That's
the
great.
of the
Wow.
DC
DC.
movies so far.
I was hoping.
I don't know. It's like a elongated relationship now. We've been hurt too many times before, so
Yeah.
the trust isn't there
Do you
anymore.
want, I can
for-
just go see it with him.
Easy.
If you don't mind.
We'll figure that out
Yeah,
as we go along.
I'm excited. It has like currently a better Rotten Tomato score than Iron Man, which is Marvel's
Oh my
highest
gosh.
rated Rotten Tomato score.
Yeah.
We saw Pirates and Alien Covenant.
How was that?
I would say they're both okay movies. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
disappointed. It wasn't bad. None of them were bad. It's just like, I thought Alien Covenant was a big step up from Prometheus.
Oh,
I
okay.
loved
Because
Prometheus.
well, we're big fans of Prometheus, and we heard that this one kind of like throws the canon of Prometheus out the window.
So-
And I
So
don't want to
I
spoil
like Prometheus
it for anyone,
too.
but
I like the lore in Prometheus.
I was kind of disappointed to hear what I heard about it, but I still want to see it when it comes out, like digitally or whatever. I'm still gonna
Yeah.
watch it because I'm not a horror fan, but I do have this love for the Alien verse. I think a lot of it has to do with the
Right.
Geiger art, or is
Yeah,
that
I
how you
love
say his
all
name? It's,
the.
there's just
all that.
there's this aesthetic to it that I really enjoy, and I thought I was a fan of the stuff they kind of tried to hint at mythology wise in Prometheus, and I'll watch it eventually.
The movie wasn't scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
It had moments.
There's no jump scares. It's very gory. I love the gore. I love the
Mm.
alien designs.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like. It's hard because it's like I know Alien 1 is like almost like pure horror, except
Yeah.
for like there's some
It's-
good
yeah.
moments.
It's a
like,
horror movie.
They changed. I mean, Aliens is pure action, so
Yeah.
They changed the
Ali-
genre.
The third one is just bad, and
They could
the
just
fourth
do
one is really weird and cool.
whatever they want.
I think I've like seen them all. I've seen the bad ones on like on TV and stuff. I've never like sat down and watched 3 and 4.
I don't like 3 that much, but 4 I
Yeah.
like. He's a cool director.
The summer Prometheus came out, Camille and I like marathoned 1 and 2 together one night.
just to refresh.
2 is
yeah.
all right. Like I know it's one of the greatest action movie or sci-fi action movies
I
ever
prefer
made,
the
but
horror.
the first one
aspect.
like can't be beat.
Yeah.
It's such a classic.
Yeah, I mean they still do some. Covenant has some stupid decisions in there. They're like, ugh. But I thought like it kind of
I feel
answered a lot of the
Mm,
questions I had
yeah.
with Prometheus, but
I
also
feel like I can
added more.
give horror movies. I'm more lenient with them. Like I could give them a pass for having like plot holes and stuff because I'm like, well, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah,
It's a
I
horror
guess.
movie. It's like they're there to thrill you, not to tell
yeah.
a complex story.
We just saw Get Out for the first time.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, how was that?
Excellent. It's so good.
I had heard so many good things about it, and I'm not saying it was hype backlash, but I never bothered to go see it because at some point it was all anyone could talk about, and I was kind of tired of it.
Yeah, I can say that for me. I was like, it
Yeah.
was like it's way too hype. I
And-
don't want.
And I believe I didn't like doubt that it was a good movie, but I just kind of avoided it because I was so sick of hearing about it. And then I saw it, and I wasn't going into it like all grumpy, like trying to hate it. I just went into it with basically no expectations, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be. Definitely worth. It was really good. I would watch it. I recommend it.
I also
Get Out.
Mm.
It's a horror movie, but it's not like it didn't scare me because it's kind of like, well, you
it's
know,
got a lot going on, a lot of
it's kind of like
things to
tongue in
think
cheek
about.
or meta or whatever you want to call it, and it's trying to be a horror movie for a very specific audience, and like I wasn't scared by it, but so like if
the things they present are scary.
If you you know, if you're one of those people like me who like doesn't watch horror movies because I don't like being scared, you don't have to worry about that with this movie. Just watch it because it's a really good movie. It's not going to scare you.
Unfortunately, everyone I know has already seen it, so now
I wasn't like
time.
spoiled for it or anything, so that was good.
It only has like one moment that's kind of a jump scare.
Yeah,
not even a jump scare, but like it's not scary.
Pirates is better than the fourth one.
What?
It's not
really?
doing. It's not doing too hot.
It's doing well in the box office.
Well, everything does.
reviews,
Critically,
I mean,
to be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't matter if a movie's bad. Everything does well because people like seeing movies.
Suicide Squad
oh my gosh,
did better than any of the other DC movies.
Yeah.
If you can believe that.
I would say like
that's my least favorite.
And
I hated it.
It's a terrible
I
movie.
hated
Let's
it.
get right to it. It's terrible.
It doesn't even deserve to be called my least favorite because I didn't like it. It's not on my list.
I feel like the last podcast we had, I mean, we talked a little bit about like movies and stuff, and like we're pretty like.
I can find charm in most things.
Yeah.
Like,
but that movie was like we talked about this last time. We're just reiterating.
Awful.
We talked about Suicide Squad last time, didn't we?
But the weird thing is that there were a lot of people who liked it, and I cannot relate.
It's not
and
as a superhero movie,
we
just
were
as
like,
a
what?
movie in general. It was the editing was obviously messed
yeah,
up.
it was yeah. Well, I mean, I was like the opposite for Batman versus Superman. I genuinely really liked that movie, and I don't really care about outside opinions, but I was just shocked that it was different for Suicide Squad. I was like,
I mean, Batman vs Superman is leagues better compared
I know,
to is Justice League's better than Suicide Squad.
I like the extended version.
Yeah.
The extended version.
Well,
great.
the
It's
thing
good.
about Batman v Superman is that like it's still a well put together movie. It's just not everyone's type of movie and not everyone's cup of tea. Whereas like Suicide Squad is technically not a good made movie, like not a well made movie. It's spliced to hell. Like they just like butchered it in editing. Like Batman v Superman, some people will say they don't like it, but at least it's cut like a movie. At least the extended version. I don't know what went wrong with Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I do remember when Suicide Squad came out, there was like that petition against Rotten Tomatoes that people who really enjoyed the movie said that this site doesn't work anymore because I thought this movie was great, and of course it was getting under 33%.
But see, even that, it's like if you liked it, good for you. I'm not out to tell people what to like, but like, we pretty much. It was pretty universally agreed on that like there was something wrong with it.
It was very disappointing
in editing.
There was also the multi-year build-up that came with it too.
Yeah.
It's like this was supposed to be like DC's magnum opus for like the decade, and then everything else was supposed to be under it.
And there's the whole like cashing in on the success of other things. Like the trying so hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy really did a number on it.
It seems so weird because it's like. You have all these cool characters, all these weird characters, and villains are kind of easy to make good. Like, but I don't know. It's like you would think like nothing but villains. Like we're gonna have like good villains. Like Marvel has no good villains except Loki and like maybe like one or two others.
DC has like their villains.
Even just Batman villains.
Cinematic universes aside, just talking about the actual villains from the comics. DC has Marvel beat for villains by far.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm happy that Wonder Woman is the one that's going to be the good one for them, and it's going to be a big hit. And there was so much writing on it that wasn't even about worrying about DC movies and stuff. This is like the future of, women in action films and directed and starred.
Yeah, because I was trying to think of like the last big female superhero movie, and there is Halle Berry's
directed
Catwoman.
and starred in that.
There's Lucy, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird
comic
movie.
book superhero.
No conflict. Just watching her kick ass the entire movie.
But if we're talking about,
it was a cool movie. But as far as like,
but if we're talking iconic pop culture,
right.
Pop culture icons, like Lucy is a good female-driven movie, but it's not.
It's not like superhero.
It's not a recognizable character.
I mean, people have been waiting for a Wonder Woman movie for so long.
I know.
And
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
She's my favorite DC superhero.
She's awesome. Yeah.
Well,
Do we have any more questions?
Great.
Did we? I know
No.
you
It
kind
was
of got
just
up on
movies.
I mean, we
We
did
talked
have
about
other
movies.
questions, but all the ones I skipped over are ones that we get asked every week.
Just
so,
making sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some video games.
Oh, yeah. Can I start?
Okay.
Injustice 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
playing. Injustice
So-
2.
I just
So
have
this
to
is
say,
how it went down. Let's see how it went down. So
Okay.
I bought Injustice 2. I was like, I don't know if it's good. And then I read about it and like, oh, they have loot. And then I immediately bought it because I was like, well, I like loot.
It's like an RPG.
And then you saw me playing it.
And I was like, oh.
And I said,
Oh.
oh, hey, Camille, I might actually like this.
I was like, well, Camille's a big DC fan. This looks really fun.
Because I was playing the campaign and I was like, oh, some of this
Happy
isn't,
early
isn't
birthday.
I
all that
played the
bad.
first one, so like
Yeah.
it wasn't that
It wasn't-
big a deal. So I didn't
Yeah.
really pay attention to the second
Yeah,
one
me
until
too.
Chelsea was like, "Hey, you would like this."
I just like bought it for you. You didn't know. I was
No.
just like, I just like sent you an email with the code and I was like, play this. You're going to love it.
And then you saw,
And I did.
then you saw us playing it, and then
And
you're
then
like,
I was
well, I
like,
want to.
I want in on the fun. So I
It's
did
really
get my
fun.
own
I don't even
copy.
like fighting
But
games.
It,
I
like,
mean, how can
consumed all
isn't
of us
it like
within a
hard
week.
to do all those combos?
You just
No, you just press
they're
stuff.
not. They're not.
Press
once-
buttons.
You
and
kind
it's
of learn
fun.
as you go.
It's a Mortal Kombat based
Yeah.
game.
They're not
Mortal Kombat
hard.
games. Every character usually has like 2 or 3 combos.
and plus, like all the
actually.
cool stuff is easy. Like press circle to do one of their things,
Yeah.
or press
Well,
both triggers at the same
the
time.
the multiverse stuff is cool because they add stuff every day. And
Daily
I
challenges.
just did the Wonder Woman movie challenge, and so I got
can
all her
unlock her armor.
costume.
Yeah.
So she looks really.
So that's.
cool
I think
now.
that's the draw for I think most people is that it's not just
I mean-
saw all the attacks for these people and all their killing moves. I guess I'm done with the game. Now it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I unlocked a new helmet, and it's like cosmetic and also stat wise. So,
No, what
yeah.
pushed me over the edge from not caring to caring and needing to buy 2 copies was the fact that I could play dress up, and
Yeah.
playing dress up actually helps my stats.
Like, I got-
it's not
yeah,
just
yeah.
cosmetics.
Someone buy it for me. Now I want to
It's
play.
really
it.
Yeah,
fun.
no, it's
And we have a-
that's
we have
what
a-
keeps me coming back, getting the gear and changing my costumes.
We have a Steam Powered Giraffe guild, but it's limited to 50 people. We have 48 in there right now, and people keep coming and going.
Better
So
hurry up.
if you want to get in
I
there,
won't be in it.
look at my what is it? I think my Instagram has
well,
the code,
we
or
can always
the Discord
kick
server
people
has
out
it.
who like aren't playing
No,
and are still level 5 or whatever.
Well, yeah, they've got they've got some good characters in there too, like lesser known DC characters, which for me was really cool.
Captain Cold
They added a lot
I
that
know
people know
him.
from the TV
from the
shows.
Flash. From the Flash.
yeah.
But they added Blue Beetle, which is like my favorite, one of the Blue Beetles. so.
Camille's already got her Blue Beetle up to like level 20 and he has epic
Well,
gear and I'm like, what the?
Funny story is I was at Comic-Con last year and I was dressed
Great.
up as one of the Blue Beetles, and I was going into the Superman comics panel, and the Injustice 2 panel had just gotten out. And so I was walking back to the room, like no one was around, and the creators were all standing in the hallway talking, and I guess they had just announced that Blue Beetle was going to be a playable character, and I didn't know that. So I walked past them, and they looked at me, and they were like, "Oh." They're like, "I bet you're really excited right now," and I was
You're
like,
wearing the Blue
and I had
Beetle
no
costume?
idea what they were
Did they
talking
just
about.
assume your panel?
They just assumed that I was in there.
You're like,
And they're like, "Oh man, you're probably so excited," and I just kind of laughed, and I was like, "Ha, yeah."
weirdos.
And I was like, "Okay."
I didn't go to your dumb video game panel. Actually, this game's pretty nice.
So then I went and sat down in my seat, and I looked at Twitter and saw the news, and I was like, "Oh."
So how does multiplayer work?
So
Like
they have a few different
tracking
modes.
stuff or
So
whatever.
there's this man. There's so many. They have so many modes in the game. It's actually kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So they got the regular fighting campaign, which is actually pretty good, way better than the first game. Also, the character designs don't look as wonky anymore.
It's miles better than
The
the first.
the facial like stuff, it looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, they so they have the campaign. Then you can play versus just with online people or split screen if you really want. And the split screen, it still unlocks things. You still get like coins and stuff when you're playing split screen, so that's a plus. Then they have the online play where you can just play random people, or you can set up a private room and you can do like King of the Hill where you have 3 people or more.
That was pretty fun.
And then like
We
when
tried
someone
that.
then and
Wait.
they fight and someone watches and then and then it's like a hot seat almost.
Yeah.
Or they'll have I think one of the modes it'll pair up like everyone, and that way there's always someone fighting someone else, and it just keeps switching.
Yeah, we kind of never made it
because we only had 3
kept
people, so
just, one of us would win and then one of us wouldn't,
Yeah.
and it just went on forever. But
it was fun though.
But they also have an asynchronous multiplayer that's just an AI battler, and you just set up your defending team for like when people attack your crew or whatever. And you get like rewards daily for that if you get like 5 people to attack you, and then you can go in and attack people with And those you just watch the matches.
No, I really want.
And it's based on the gear for your characters and stuff.
Let's go play.
I'm like a junkie
And that one,
for
and it's
Injustice
kind of a pain because it feels like a mobile game, but there's loot, so
It's fun. And you know, I usually don't pay attention to like learning the button combos, but as you start playing, and like I was kind of unlocking some trophies, and you had to learn, so it gets more fun once you know how to play.
I picked the character I picked was because she had a pretty exploitable move. Just
oh my god,
Super girl!
Hitting circle.
You just
and
hit
laser
circle.
eyes,
I cannot play when you.
And then I learned. Then after that, I learned a few more. Like there's a back down triangle. She like flies away.
Everyone
and
finds
on the other side of the screen.
I think everyone finds an exploitable move in their favorite character.
But to be fair,
I like Catwoman the most, and I just crouch and kick people as they come towards me.
But when you play online, like that only works for like half the battle, and then the people are they're just so
I don't
good.
fight real people.
I stopped doing them too. I was like trying to get all of my challenges done, but I'm not good at fighting games. But
anyway, we highly recommend
I'm okay with the Penyaks. Camille's a little better than us, but
yeah.
But
well, I was having fun playing like on the couch, like co-op with you versus the first night because
co-op just like
what versus Camille, isn't that? No,
co-op is
She turned her controller on and we were playing.
Whatever, we were both playing together. Doesn't that mean co-op?
No.
Whatever, I don't know.
Because you're fighting each other.
You're fighting each other.
Okay.
Cooperative is like we're fighting together against the enemy.
Oh, I just use co-op to mean we're both playing a game.
I just want people to like, oh, there's co-op in the game.
No, okay, yeah, you're right.
That'd be cool, but I don't know how they
do
it.
But anyway, I enjoyed my first night playing with Camille because she's such a huge DC fan, and it's like pretty much every character we picked, I would get the little lecture on like their backstory and all their, you know.
You asked.
No, I know. I'm saying I liked it. I was like learning. I was like, oh, so what's Dr. Fate's deal? And you were like, okay, well, here's the rundown. Like he gets his power from his helmet and Egyptian gods, and I was like, this is so cool.
They have shaders
I don't
too,
have the
and all the.
I don't have the time to read comics.
All the Green Lantern.
I'm up to date.
The shader skins, like to change his color scheme, are just the different.
Yeah, that's
lanterns.
my favorite.
We got sucked into like for an hour one night. Me and David were just reading about all the different colored lanterns and their powers and stuff.
Green Lantern's great.
Yeah.
Go get the. I don't want to tell people what to do.
But
go get this run of comics.
But yeah, I was. Yeah, you pretty much just pick one character and try to level them up to 20 or whatever.
I think Wonder Woman's my highest now because I was doing the challenge last night to get her movie gear.
I was doing Supergirl.
Do they have the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman?
No. But you can
there might be a costume.
She has a shader that gives her the purple color from like the Tim Sale comics, which I really like. But
there's a lot. All the costumes are like pulled from different like inspirations from stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen one that looks like the Michelle Pfeiffer costume.
No, not. I don't think they have that.
It's like her with goggles and a cat head, or like the ears are slightly different, or
yeah.
They have a few different ones. They have some dumb looking armors too, but
yeah.
Anyways, it's fun.
There's a plug for Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, tourneys already running for that. Me and Bunny saw some tourneys, yesterday or day before? Like, broadcast tourneys. All the high-level players, all they do is use the exploitable move. So, like, we saw just one dude I think he was Darkseid, and he was just throwing people the whole time. He didn't get hit once. He was just throwing him to the ground.
The absolute, I would say for me personally, the absolute worst AI like character to play against is Brainiac because he has those like Doc Ock arms, and you cannot get a hit in. It's really annoying.
And he can summon mini Brainiacs to attack you from behind, right?
Every time I see him like come up on one of my multiverse challenges and I have to fight him, I'm like, God damn it. Yeah. But yeah, no, really fun. I could talk about it forever.
So yeah, Injustice 2, that's one. What else?
So Bunny picked up Dead by Daylight voluntarily for some reason.
Dead by Daylight?
Yeah.
Well, I saw you playing it finally, and I was like, that looks fun.
So this is
because I was like, I don't like horror games. I don't want to be scared.
So this is like it's like Left 4 Dead, but like a horror.
It's like Evolve and Left 4 Dead. It's kind of like it got really popular in the last
asymmetrical
2 years.
multiplayer where it's like 4 versus 1.
4 versus 1.
Yeah.
Well, 4 versus 1.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah.
So
different than
it's basically
asynchronous.
inspired by slasher movies. So you have all these monsters to pick from that are based loosely on different. Like there's one that's kind of Silent Hilly, and one that's like
but not exactly
Texas
because
Chainsaw
of,
Massacre.
Like, trademarks.
Yeah, but they did actually get the license for Halloween, so you can play as Mike Myers.
So yeah, Mike Myers is a playable killer, and Laurie Hughes is a playable survivor. And then they actually added Bill from Left 4 Dead into the game recently for
like
free.
an actual like Valve.
Yeah, Valve's Bill, and because he was spoilers, I guess. He was Left 4 Dead in the first Left 4 Dead. So he ends up in this horror universe.
There's a whole lore behind it. It's pretty cool. Just how there's like this entity that is basically torturing all of you, and the killers, the killers are probably just in the trap as well. Like they're forced to do this. So it's kind of interesting. There's backstory for every character.
It's kind of weird. They have the Friday the 13th game is that same thing, 4 versus 1.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's different. The Friday the 13th, obviously you can only play as different variations of Jason.
Sounds really stressful. Like if you're the killer, you're all alone. You don't have anyone on your team.
That sounds like really cool though. Like like a game where there's a bunch of. If they actually got the actual ones, that would be even cooler.
Yeah.
But it's a cool idea.
I mean, Mike Myers is the scariest one because they made him really OP.
He's terrifying because usually when a monster is near you, you'll hear its heartbeat and it gets like louder, but he doesn't have a heartbeat, so he just appears and it's already too late for you.
Yeah. I can't play scary games because I'm
scary.
so anxious.
It's
by default.
Well, like I was saying yesterday, I like this game. My friend introduced me to the game. I like this game because it was the first game that I was actually, I guess, anxious or invested in. It's like I didn't want to, as a survivor, I didn't want to die. I didn't want to encounter this, and I get legitimately scared when I was being chased around. Like, because most horror games, especially these days, are so campy that you just like you put on a horror game, they throw the horror so much in your face and the title screen and stuff. It's like, well, I guess jump scares are in the way. But this one's just a person finding you, and also with
it's like tag or hide and go seek.
Pretty much,
yeah. And obviously the monsters have more powers, so they're harder to. But
I played Evolve. I was one of the only people that played Evolve.
Now that I think about it, I'm like trying to think of why I don't like scary games and why they give me so much anxiety. And I remember when we were kids, do you remember that Alien versus Predator game we play? Oh my god, scary. It was really scary.
I think it was on
this is a really old system.
The Dreamcast?
We didn't have a Dreamcast.
No, but our uncle did.
Oh, is that what we played it on?
I have no idea if Alien vs. Predator was on Dreamcast.
But
it's old enough, it might have been.
You could play as an alien.
It was on
play
something.
As the Predator, or you could play as a human. And all 3 modes were terrifying. I think the Alien was the best because you moved really fast when you played the Alien. And I need to know if anyone else remembers that game.
Yeah, they've actually had sequels.
It was one of the first games to do bullet decals, or not bullet decals, but wound decals on the models. Like if you slash someone or hit them with a bullet, it would stay there.
For us, it was one of those games. I don't think we owned it, but we played it a lot. And it's one of those games that like you played so long ago that you can't remember if it was real or not. And I'm like, does anyone else remember?
It's fun, yeah.
They had a recent one that came out within the last 5 or 6 years or something.
Was it like a PvP type one?
It was literally more multiplayer.
Remember. It was recent.
It was probably PlayStation 3. It probably came out on.
Kind of reminds me of Doom when I think about what it looks like as a kid, but I don't know.
It looked kind of bad, but
well, they haven't had a good
I just remember like the textures of the walls, and like vision was really weird when you were the Predator.
It was like yellow,
like his mask or something.
Yeah.
I remember the aliens can like walk on walls.
Yes.
Let's
terrifying.
See. Today, Star Trek Bridge Crew launches. That's
VR.
A game from the company that did I think it's Werewolves Within or whatever. But it's like a multiplayer based game where 4 people take different roles on a Star Trek ship, a made up one called the Aegis or whatever. Unless I don't know enough about Star Trek, and there is a ship called the Aegis. Or the original one. You can be on the original Enterprise as well.
That sounds like something from the Odyssey.
So it comes out for PlayStation VR, Vive, and Oculus. There's crossplay, so it doesn't matter what system you buy it for. You can play with everyone on the system, which is really cool, I think. But basically, you just you're in VR. You have your hands, and you actually have to hit the buttons and stuff. And either you're the engineer, the captain, the helmsman, or the whatever the weapons person is. And it's I played a little bit of it last night, but it's pretty cool because the idea of a multiplayer game where everyone has to work together to get the ship to do what it you remember that one game Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like that except
like
in
you
VR.
all have to control it together and work together.
Yeah.
Like Overcooked.
A little bit.
Oh
too.
my god!
Did you guys ever play Overcooked?
Oh my god! You just gotta like make a pizza, and it's the
like-
hardest thing in the
and-
world.
and,
Everyone's
like,
You have to
screaming
work
at each
together.
other.
It's like cook the sausages,
Cook
get
the
the dough.
sausage!
This is not, and you think it's like if you had time to plan it, of course you would do it good.
But the
since you only have
levels, like,
5 minutes or
Sometimes
something,
it's like there's a blackout and you can't see for 5 seconds, or you're in a moving car and they like switch.
Or it's
and
like-
it's just
it's like
They
Wait,
separate
you're making
you.
pizza in a moving car?
Yeah.
They'll separate you
During
by
a thunderstorm.
walls.
Is it
And-
VR or no?
no.
No,
This is
it's just like a little
top
party
down,
game.
like kind of like.
Oh my god!
Bomberman.
I remember that one level where they separate you into 2 rooms, and there's a conveyor belt that goes
Oh my
around the whole
God.
screen. So it's
Because
like
all you want is just a regular
you're like-
restaurant to get
you're
good
like,
at your
Camille,
thing. but you
Camille,
can't.
chop the onions, put them on the conveyor belt, send them to my room. I need them right now, and it's like
And eventually,
Do it.
it's not down to efficiency. It's about how many finished meals that can we
Yeah.
get correct before we
Because
die.
people keep ordering like fish and chips, and I'm like, I can't keep up.
Or like you're
I'm on
like
the
you're on
ice.
ice and you have
that
to.
was a
it's like-
tangent, but
yeah.
Overcooked is pretty
Anyway,
fun.
when you play Overcooked, you eventually
So
just
games
start
that
screaming
require
at your
everyone to work
friends.
together, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it
So-
creates like a because I think people do it already with games they play like MMOs and stuff like that or any multiplayer games, but this game's like embracing it. Like that's the whole thing with it. They do have AI crew members that you can, if you're the captain, you can look at them and tell them quick things like power to shields. But
so, wait, can you play like if you're in different locations and you all have VR? It's like an online thing.
yeah,
Okay.
so everyone's in the ship and they can see your arms and your head move and
That
stuff.
sounds
Pedal
cool.
to
And you can
the
change your
metal,
avatar. You can be a
Commander.
Vulcan or whatever. It's not like if it wasn't in VR, it'd probably be a boring game because the idea
Yeah.
of like hitting the switches and stuff is difficult. Like it's not just like I have a controller and you can play with a gamepad, but the idea of like hitting all those switches, it's really hard when you're in the original Enterprise because it's all
just
just
a bunch of
colored
lights,
lights.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can bring up an overlay to kind of see a map of where everything is, but it's a lot like instead of having just a view screen that pops up and you can see where all the target is, you have to actually hold up a clipboard that has like a screen on it, and you have to like it's really cool like how they did
You're
it.
a
But
real 60s Starfleet officer
you're
now.
like, wow, the newer ships are way easier to control. But like the controls for the ship on the original Enterprise, like if you're the helmsman, like to go up, like there's a button up here that does it, and to go down here, then there's like forward and reverse somewhere else. It's not like you actually have like a little digital joystick on the other one, but on the new ship.
'Cause
But
they basically just copied what it looked like from the series,
Yeah.
and back then none of it was actually made any sense.
no,
Yeah.
but it's cool. So I'm gonna play that tonight with I think Curly and stuff and
I always
Sam,
wanted
maybe.
I always wanted to be like the science officer.
Look
where
into the thing.
Spock looks into his little microscope
And he doesn't
thing.
even get a chair.
He just stands there and looks into it. Can you do that in VR? Do they have the microscope thing?
I didn't look around enough.
I think I'd want to be a science officer. What is there? There's command, engineering, and science. Science is the
as
coolest.
far as the game is, it's the weapons person. I don't know what they call that person, but the helmsman, the engineer, and the captain.
Oh yeah, what's Worf in Next Gen? Is he
He's
security?
security.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's not security. I don't know.
No, it's
technical tactician,
tactical.
maybe?
Tactician.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting game. It's getting good reviews. I think just because it's on every system, so it's not going to alienate like Oculus exclusive. So
Yeah.
Except Xbox, but that's good.
well, the Xbox
They don't have
they have
anything, do they?
Technically, it's Oculus because
What,
but
VR?
not,
Yeah.
I don't
Does
think they
X-
have the Kinect.
Does Xbox have any VR?
They
Not
were-
yet.
They were going to do the whole connection with Oculus, so
Oh,
I don't know if that has happened yet or not. But
Well, people don't really know what Microsoft's already kind of jumping the bandwagon. Well, they're kind of preemptively investing in that there's not going to be any more consoles. Like this
Yeah.
should be the last
Oh,
generation
really?
of console. Yeah, so right now if you buy most Xbox One games, you get a free copy for Xbox Live
which
Microsoft.
which I
Whoa.
enjoy
So
because I'm
wait,
like, I don't need an Xbox One. I can just
They
buy all
think
these games on
that
PC now.
consoles are dying out. Is
They
that-
they don't see well from a financial. So they have Project Scorpio right now, which is
Yeah.
like their version of the PS Pro, but they don't see another console because these consoles are already really powerful.
Yeah,
their consoles
yeah.
do 4K now easily, and then we have computers that do the same thing. So
yeah,
right now,
so I guess I was gonna say, what are we gonna play games on if not consoles?
It's
in
going
the
to be
future?
consoles. I don't think Microsoft knows what they're doing.
So,
Like,
so what they're doing is that when they're selling the new Xbox One games, a lot of them you get a free copy for your PC.
yeah.
So that if that happens,
Oh, I see.
their customer base is like, oh yeah, I still want Microsoft Xbox Live.
They probably just don't
on
really know.
PC.
I
right
just
now,
like playing
but,
with a controller.
Yeah.
Like in the future, if I'm not using a
Yeah.
console and I'm using like Like, didn't Steam, weren't they going to make like a console type thing?
Yeah, they already have
They came
They're
out
Steam
and
machines,
it was in and out.
It's
here
an
and
OS.
there.
You can build your own, or you can actually buy pre-made
Microsoft
ones.
already kind of covered that base because like Windows 10 already has the Xbox controller drivers built in. Like you don't even have to look for them anymore.
Yeah, I use an
do you
Xbox
think
One
it's
on
gonna
PC.
like turn into just like Sony console people and PC people?
Possibly. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
I don't think so.
Well,
The end of the
I'm just
Great
curious
War.
because
Because I play on PC primarily, and I use a controller all the time. Because
Yeah.
most games now will support controllers, and yes, you have to learn the interface for an Xbox controller, but those controllers just
I
work.
use DS4 and I can use PlayStation.
Yeah,
And see,
have
I
some of
will
those
admit
too.
that me and I'm pretty sure Camille agrees with me that like we're basically
I'm never switching. No.
well I was gonna say we're not like PC gamers in
Yeah.
the sense that like I don't have the time or energy to like you know I just want to sit down and play a game.
Well,
with
yeah,
control.
I get it. You want it to work. You don't want to have to deal with driver issues and stuff.
We're definitely the type of casual gamer that we're the consumer that consoles are gearing towards, and I don't care what I'm playing on in the future if it's like a PC type thing, but as long as I can like just as long as it's easy to play and I don't have to set up anything elaborate, I don't care what I'm playing on.
But I mean, the specs of the Pro are. I mean, compared to
'Cause
PC,
I
it's
feel
all
like for
garbage.
some
It's
people
all
it's a
like,
hobby,
This is
where it's
5-year-old
like-
technology that they're selling for.
yeah,
way
but
too-
like I just
too
want to
much.
be able to play all the games I want.
Yeah,
I
right.
imagine
Yeah.
like for some PC gamers, it's like it's a fun hobby. They enjoy setting up their computers and all that. But it's like some people don't want to, like
Yeah.
us. And it's like as long as they make it easy for me in the future, I don't care what I'm playing.
I mean,
on.
I'll admit that, like, though I like gaming on PC because I like the highest
Yeah.
frame rates and I like the highest resolution and the best graphics. If there is a game that there's no reason to not get it on console, I'll get it on console because it's so much more convenient than turning on a PC.
It's convenience. Yeah.
Well,
But that's mainly because I also like laying down in bed with a controller, and if I have to do a PC, I have to turn the PC on, switch the displays, and
Yeah, I guess I was just
Yeah.
curious because like I don't keep up. Like,
Yeah.
are people
Yeah.
thinking that Xbox
well,
is dying?
No, it's not that. It's just that they kind of anticipate just making Xbox Ones for the rest of time, and then
Okay.
PS4 because like
And just upgrading the
so
technology.
yeah,
or
It
because
could be that they could make like that has supplemental.
yeah, well, that's what the Project
Yeah.
Scorpio is going
Right.
to be. It's their version of the PS Pro. Like right now, if you go to game stores, you can get PS4 original for like $200 now, which is
Yeah.
amazing, or you can get the PS Pro for $300
I
or
mean,
$400.
if they make like slottable stuff, maybe that'll be the future.
Well, they think because so here's the thing on the finance side. So the console market has changed a lot. Nintendo is the only console manufacturers that make a profit off their console sales. Like the Wii,
Wow.
they made $40 per purchase. Sony and Microsoft actually lose money every time you
Yeah.
buy
Oh,
a
wow.
PlayStation or an Xbox because they're worth more than what you pay for.
they were saying that they were finally
Ah.
almost breaking even. I don't know, a few years ago, but I don't know if
they
that's true
almost
anymore.
made it. Well, Sony
I
did.
didn't realize that.
Well, the PS3 ran for long enough so that it kept on shrinking and shrinking, and got the
Yeah.
PS2 did the same thing, in which they made the hardware cheap enough for them to manufacture that they actually started breaking even. But Nintendo's the only one that actually makes money off the consoles, and then they make the money back through licensing, exclusives, hardware. Sony's been in the hardware thing since the PS1 with memory cards, memory sticks, and controllers and peripherals and things like that. So from a financial perspective, why are we just losing money when we could just depend on other things or just maintain this? I mean, Sony has View and PlayStation Plus is already there.
Yeah.
The PS Now service, all this other stuff, and Microsoft is kind of doing the same thing with Xbox Live and things like that. But they're not anticipating like another war for like what's the next console. Like now it's
I
moving
see.
to what's the next
Like-
version of this console.
Right. Like
Yeah.
the giant PS4 Xbox One war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people.
But and I think obviously we're gonna need. Because they're already moving towards 8K stuff. Like
Is there going to be a PS5 anytime soon?
But I mean, who knows? But I think the problem with
Yeah,
like
Kingdom Hearts 3 will come out on it.
upgrading components on a PS4 is that you can't.
PS7.
If developers have to create two different versions already for PS4 Pro and to make sure that it
Yeah.
scales if they want to use that option, think how hard it'll be if now you have to make different versions to scale up based on what your video card comes in and out of your PS4 to upgrade it. Like, it's just so much like. I mean, they have to do that on PC to
Well,
a degree
yeah.
anyways, but
I think they'll have to adapt. It's happened in the past. It's
Yeah.
like people will get surprised about how many releases on the Xbox and the PS4 actually made it onto the Wii, and those are pretty much entirely different versions of the games with the same
Yeah.
title.
I've seen that.
It's interesting because we're kind of getting to that point with like PS4 Pro. Like some of those some games actually have like PC settings now.
Yeah.
Where like you can put it up really high and you're gonna get kind of a janky frame rate.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy 15 was the first one that had graphic settings because you could turn up and down the graphic settings based on what experience you want.
And it never doesn't look ever quite good on any of them, like for whatever reason.
So weird to me.
I think Horizon Zero Dawn did the best implementation of that.
Horizon looks pretty great.
It's only 30 frames a second, but as far as like it going to 4K, doing HDR, it's like the best looking game out there. Injustice 2 does have HDR on PS4, I think on both, because I think even the old PS4s support HDR. But you need a TV that does that, and that looks really good. But also,
yeah, it's just a fighting game.
Yeah, I mean it's the deeper blacks. That's what I mean. It's hard to explain because it's not just turning the contrast really high or something. It's just HDR or HDR10 or Dolby Vision, which is what they're called. Just looks amazing if you have a game that supports it or a movie. But the problem with the video games that I see right now is the menus are always not made for HDR, so they look washed out, even though the game looks amazing. And I've seen that on Horizon as well as Injustice 2. But that's because growing pains. And they're like, oh, we actually have to put our menus in HDR. See, I'm just on a tangent. No,
Video games.
Yeah.
Video games.
That's pretty much what we all
so
have in
VR,
common, right?
that came out. Elite Dangerous goes on pre-order today for PlayStation 4. That's going to apparently make use of PlayStation Pro and also DualShock controller. But no news on VR implementation, even though that's like a really good selling factor for that game. But E3's coming up, and
oh boy,
we're probably going to hear a lot more, obviously, about Elite.
Working.
What day is it?
It's always the best one's a Monday.
Yeah, but
there's like they have
June,
a PlayStation experience for.
Yeah,
E3
but it's like all the first event on the
is
first
it
day.
like
that's
June
like the
5th?
best.
When do they do it? June 12th.
12th.
What day is
probably.
E3?
12th is
Mid-June.
probably all of the
Good stuff.
good stuff. But
I
Sony
like
doesn't
watching
start
all the
till
live
later.
stuff, and then I like I don't care about sports games. I don't care about.
Usually, it's you tune in for hours upon hours, and you just find yourself waiting for Sony.
Yeah, you wait for one thing. You're like, okay.
Sony
I
always
still have to
kills it.
pre-order Final Fantasy 12 HD.
I did it, and I got a free
Remaster.
theme for PS4, and it's very pretty.
Oh boy. Yeah, I need to do that.
But is
I'm
it
really depressed
60
because
frames
Red
a
Dead
second?
was pushed back to 2018.
Was
It's not,
it?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
Not much more I'm excited about this year that I can foresee.
It's not like no one didn't see something like that.
Whatever
happening.
happened to that game they talked about at E3 last year where you can play as like the shaman guy?
That was
and,
the E3 2015.
like, whatever. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Far
And
Cry
you can
Primal
like be
came out.
different animals. And I was like, oh, that looks cool.
I'm
And
sure.
then,
I don't
like,
know what it was called, but I'm sure it's still
Okay,
coming
well.
out.
Oh yeah.
that looked really neat. And now it's been like 2 years and whatever. I don't know.
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But I remember last year it was what was the big one for? I think it was No Man's Sky or something. We were probably.
I found
yeah.
I found everything last year to be really dry.
No, there wasn't much that I was like, okay. Kojima, that was cool. What did he come out? Was that E3?
Yeah,
last
he's
year?
always doing weird.
But I just like.
like who knows?
I just like
Oh,
that.
the
I
Norman
like that he's
Reedus
treated
thing.
like a god. It's like, oh, yep. Well,
Guillermo del Toro
He
and
walks out
Norman
with
Reedus and
Yeah, but like, has
Mads?
he even said that it's a game?
No.
it's just his like avant-garde
it's
art
not.
project.
Hasn't.
With
That was
Mads
it. That's all he
Mikkelsen.
made. That's the whole project right there.
Wait, what didn't last year? Didn't he? I get confused with
I don't know when
E3
that
and the
was.
PlayStation experience because
Oh.
I don't
think
think
it-
that was E3 where he did
No,
that.
it wasn't.
he came out and he just walked down and he just announced that he was gonna make a game. And
Yeah.
that was it.
Well, he like announced his partnership with Sony or something.
But now,
And
but
people cheered, and then
since
that was
then we've seen the Flesh Tank trailer or whatever.
Flesh Tank.
Mads Mikkelsen or whatever.
Yeah, Mads.
I said
Mads. I don't know if it's Mads or Maz. I don't know the correct pronunciation.
It's just like
It's-
the big like Kojima squad that he has assembled.
It's Danish. He's Danish.
Yeah.
If a new movie comes out and he likes the main actor, that's his new main character in the next video game.
Yeah, he always has like his
He really liked
boy
24.
toy of the
so-
moment.
so
like
now-
Norman Reedus. Oh, now it's Mads. And he's always like really obsessed with them. And I'm going to put you in a game. I don't know. He's always entertaining on Twitter and stuff.
We'll see.
What games are you guys excited for?
I mean, the only one I've been excited for since I played it 4 years ago was Tekken 7, which isn't out yet.
That's coming out soon.
Yeah.
I played it in Japan in 2014.
Is it out there already?
It's been out there.
Wow. You're still
years.
waiting.
So that's
they keep on pushing it back.
that's
the
a lot more
Titanically-
technical fighting
It's
game,
been
right?
It's more
84
technical than
years.
Mortal Kombat base game. So Injustice 2 is based on like the Mortal Kombat style. It's the same developer team,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's the simpler one, particularly. Tekken's like a set above that, and then Street Fighter is like a whole completely different universe.
What about Soul Calibur? Is that?
Soul Calibur is more complicated but slower than like Injustice style.
What about Dead or Alive?
Dead or Alive is actually pretty. Dead or Alive, Virtual Fighter, and King of Fighters actually pretty similar to each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate they kind of they're not fighting games anymore. So
No?
there's more volleyball games than there are fighting games. Well, it's just
I've tried to
what
play
sells.
some of them, and they just don't hold my attention. I'm like, what? Where's all the magic? Where's all the fireballs? Like,
so
you know?
those, well, yeah, that's one. Street Fighter is a very different, fast-paced fighting game. It's really simple. There's not really many combos, but there's moves. Tekken has like a billion combos, but the combat's a lot slower. I don't know. They're different things. But the most complicated fighter out there, I think, is still Smash Bros. That thing is
Really? But
insane.
it's so simple.
It is
Really?
not.
Wow.
But the combos are so simple.
There's no so because you have to think about it, in Smash Bros. You can jump, and actually that means something. That's like the only fighting game where jumping really means something. You can block, you can dodge, you can roll, you can grab, and you can throw them in all four different directions. There's a basic attack in all four directions. There's a smash attack in all four directions. Smash attack also charges, and then you have 4 special attacks per character with an ultimate.
Whoa.
Yeah, and if you watch an actual like attorney, they're going faster than 60 frames per second in their minds. Like, it's all about hitboxes. Like, if you ever see the really famous one, is there's a battle between a fox and a falco, and they're at 300% for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
And all it would take for one of them to die is to hit each other, but they never do it. Like, that Smash Bros. I think is the most complicated one.
Well,
out
I think
there.
that speaks to that Smash Brothers, is that it's simple enough that anyone can play it.
I
But
think
it's
the
then
last
it's
time I played it was at a
difficult to
Christmas
master.
Yeah, when
party.
it goes to high level play, it's legitimately insane.
I
Like, the
just played with
people.
Fiona.
Yeah, the people who play it, they don't even see the characters anymore. They just see the hitboxes. So they just see squares on the screen.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They are so the Street Fighter pros and the Smash Bros pros, they want that so little latency that CRTs aren't enough for them. They like order like these TVs that are meant for like airports that don't have any like volume controls or anything, that have the least amount of lag. And they
Wow.
collect them to their systems, and they do that. Yeah, they cannot take any lag, because that's how they get the competitive edge. So those games are the ones that
That's
are
crazy.
yeah, it's insane. I can never play that level.
It doesn't even sound fun after a while.
I know.
Yeah, but I mean, those tourneys, it's just interesting to see those tourneys. I didn't know I'd be into watching them, but people, like, there's crowds just watching. And
Oh, I bet.
I
It
mean-
seems like such a weird subculture.
there's physical fights that happen because of that. Yeah, but that's as far as games looking forward. That's the only one. I don't even know if I'm gonna get Tekken 7 because I don't know, I'm taken out. At
I
this
hear
point.
the story is pretty interesting, but it's kind of weird to like a story of a fighting game because it's like it's not the main draw.
Tekken's always really cool because their stories are super zany. Because the main family, like, all of them are cursed with demon powers and crap. So like in Tekken 5, the last one I remember, like, if you win as Heihachi, you put your father, your son, and your grandson on a rocket and shoot them into space while you watch sitting. It doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Yeah.
Like, one of them is Paul. When he wins his story, at the end of every storyline for Tekken, you get like a cutscene of what happens once they win the tournament. One of them is Paul, who's an American boxer, and he beats everybody in the tournament, including the demon at the end. And then he just says, "All right, I beat everyone on Earth. You're next, aliens," and aliens come down. Just fighting it. It's just random crap. Like, and then there's in Tekken 6, they brought back the raptor character, the boxing velociraptor. There's a boxing velociraptor. There's a boxing kangaroo who has her cub in her pouch, and he also has boxing gloves.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really zany.
Yeah.
So Tekken 7's story is they finally bring in Heihachi's wife, and she is like she's a demon that can summon a tiger, I guess. I might be wrong with that, but that's what I played in Japan. I beat her in the story mode, but they didn't implement the stuff already. But I don't know, those ones. It's just interesting to that. And if you like the game, you like the game. That's one of those things. But I don't know. I think see, for me, my opinion is I think the age of must-play games is gone. Too many come out at a time that unless you really have all the time in the world, you can't play every game you want to anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, say, like 10 years ago, the must-play games were like Mega Man, Sonic, Legend of Zelda, and Turok, and even like in the last few years, Uncharted, like the Halo series, and Call of Duty used to be one of the must plays and all this stuff.
I haven't played any of those.
Yeah, but now, because it used to be like as a gamer, it's like, you didn't play Final Fantasy VII? What's wrong with you? But now, when I never played The Last of Us. I didn't play Grand Theft Auto 5.
Is it because the market is just more saturated?
Yeah,
now?
It's just saturated.
There's just so much.
But I mean, I think it's a good thing because we're getting loads of high quality content,
and we're getting variety, I suppose.
And we're getting variety.
Thing,
yeah.
So when it comes to like pre-orders or things like that, it's, for me personally, I just wait till it comes out at this point, and then if it's worth it, it's worth it, because right now too many games are flopping. Also, like I mean, certain AAAs are dying. Like Call of Duty, nobody knows what's gonna happen with that because they've been having a steady decrease over the last few years. So we don't know what the future of that's gonna be.
I think, and the worst thing about some of those games is like when you play the Call of Duty games, like they're fine. They're nothing's bad about them. It's just you feel fatigued by it. You're like, okay, this is just like the last one, except and then suddenly the spectacle that is in it isn't impressive anymore. Like, because you've already seen a million different set pieces explode, and it's just not impressive anymore, even though it looks amazing. Like, and I think that's the problem is, so when something like, I think like something like Battlefield 1 kind of was like a little more interesting because it was like, oh, I haven't seen World War I before done over the top and see blimps crashing down. So that's why that one I think did a little better, is because it was refreshing. And and it's the same thing with something like Injustice. Like, who wants another fighting game? Throw loot in there. Well, loot. Well, I can dress up my
that's how they
atrocitus.
Sold me. Yeah.
Well, that model right now is working for every game. The whole loot, like even Blizzard has made every one of the games a loot game.
I mean, that's why I like Diablo.
Yeah, every one of Blizzard's game now is a loot game. Here's the Storm 2.0 came out, which is they introduced a loot system in which you can get cosmetics and characters and stuff. Same thing as like Injustice type deal. And then Call of Duty, they're gonna make a World War II one again. I guess that's their next big thing. I don't know, everybody, but the gaming market has become. I think it's good because the gaming market has become saturated with enough good content that missing out on it isn't catastrophic anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Plus, it's unfortunate on a half end, but you can kind of experience a lot of games without playing them now.
Yeah.
It's just really, I don't know.
It's a different climate.
There's a lot of indie games too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I agree. Like, there's not much out there that I want to pre-order. Like, it's basically going to be something that I know I like something I already played, like Final Fantasy 12, that I want to replay again. Or the only other thing I could think that I plan on pre-ordering is Red Dead. And because to me, that's not really much of a gamble. I know that Rockstar is going to make something good. Like, you know. What?
Brian thought we had rehearsal today.
Oh.
We have a surprise guest?
I think we have a surprise guest.
Tomorrow. Oh my god. But hey, you're here.
Oh, look at the whole crew here.
Hi.
Happy birthday, by the way. What's up?
Oh, thank you.
If you want me to come in.
Yeah, what y'all doing?
Yeah, podcast.
No, I mean, we just
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. Get out of here.
You want to come in?
I'm coming in.
Come in.
I'm coming in for a second.
We have a special guest, everyone. Brian got the day wrong on rehearsal, so he's here. Say hi.
I think we've talked about video games enough.
We've been talking about video games for like an hour, so please. You want to sit down? Have a seat. Here, you can have my mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brian Barberin from Steam Powered Giraffe.
Oh, we've been talking about
What video game's coming out?
Yeah, I was just talking about like what I want to pre-order. Okay. Red Dead got pushed back. I'm really sad about that. I know.
Yes.
We talked about Injustice 2 a lot. Did you play that?
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Good.
Really
I love
the first one. It was,
it's so much better.
Way better than the first.
That's what I keep hearing. So
yeah.
I'm gonna have to get it because I'm all Wonder Woman out right now. So I'm like, fight somebody and get someone with a lasso real quick.
I know. We were just talking about they like did a special event so you could go get her movie costume.
Oh
yeah.
What? So of course.
Is the event over?
No, you have until June 6th.
No.
What?
We're gonna find $60.
Well, I'm gonna have to take a break and go play Injustice. So no.
It's like I was looking at the event and it said you have 128 hours left or some amount.
Oh my god! I have I have the chest plate, boots, and bracers. I still need the tiara, the sword, and I don't think I'm gonna get the shield because it's like a level 20 challenge.
Well, the sword and the shield are the same.
Oh,
but
I thought you
like,
had the sword.
No, it's the Sword and the Shield. I still need.
Never mind.
I'm gonna check it out.
I all I have left to get is the tiara then, because I'm not gonna do the level 20 challenge.
It might not be that bad. I'll check it out.
Okay. Well, I don't have any level 20 characters. So are you gonna see Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I can't wait to see Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Opening night.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go midnight as well.
Yeah.
Where are you guys going? Oh wait, we're on a podcast.
I don't care, but
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I always like forget.
I think there's still seats left.
There are.
There are.
Yeah.
All right, I'll ask you after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm hungry.
I was surprised though because I bought my tickets like the day they came out.
Well, we've been recording for almost 2 hours.
Almost?
What happened?
The guitar got me.
Oh no. Everything's falling apart.
Shouldn't have walked in. Should have stayed outside.
Maybe
I was like, you were like looking out the window, and I was like, what's happening?
You said be there in 5.
So funny. It took me like 10 minutes to get here too.
Oh no. Well, anyway.
We can still rehearse it. You want to rehearse tomorrow?
So.
I don't mind it.
Is this the end of the podcast? Are we?
We have like 10 minutes.
We don't. I think we've run our course. We've talked about. Is there anything left to talk about?
We didn't talk about TV or books.
We didn't talk about TV or
We're gonna
books.
cover everything.
Television. I started American Gods. Very good.
American Gods is good.
Highly recommend. That's pretty much.
I've been
it
watching Black
me.
Sails, and it's really good. I'm in like the middle of. No, I'm like about to finish season 2, and yeah, I really like it.
Pretty much everything we talk about is something we recommend and we think is really good. If anyone is a Red Letter Media fan, Nerd Crew, all I can think is very cool. Very cool. Everything's very cool. Sorry, that was a really obscure reference.
As soon as Bunny gets back, I guess we'll just play out the podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll call it a day.
Wounded, unbended knee.
Well,
Just the thumb. It's just a thumb. What do you need thumbs for? Plenty of animals get by without thumbs. Plenty of animals play guitar with it.
yeah. Well, I've got a little bit more work to do today after the podcast, but then I'm just going to chill and finish getting my Wonder Woman gear on Injustice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Back to work tomorrow. It was a nice Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about what we did. Oh, whatever.
What?
There was a holiday in America.
I worked.
And we honor the fallen people
It's basically...
that served our country.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that right?
A lot of people get together, have
Does anyone else know?
barbecues. It was my birthday on Saturday.
Memorial Day.
So my birthday is always Memorial Day weekend, so I get like a 3-day weekend. It's nice.
That's sweet.
Just me. Lucky me.
What about Brian? What did Brian do?
I ate hamburgers.
You ate a hamburger
and
and a hot dog?
Yeah.
Oh,
I ate a hamburger.
Hot dog.
We had ribs.
What?
Ribs.
When
They
did
were-
you eat a hamburger?
Slow cooked
Last night?
one.
You ate a hamburger without me?
Brianna?
Where?
You don't chicken?
Where'd you go?
Yeah, I know chicken.
Oh, grilled hamburgers. Are there
let's
any
play this
leftovers
out.
at home? Yes. I'm going to eat a hamburger tonight. I'm really excited.
Now we're just talking about hamburgers.
Mmm.
I have some nice frozen food. No.
Yeah. You can get a guest singer in here.
A guest singer? Oh, does Brian want to sing this?
Just stand up your
Just-
children.
Just
We got
Okay,
we got a
okay.
microphone right here.
We got a bunch of mics.
here, use that. I'm not using mine. Here.
Oh, then what about the guitar?
Here. Wait, someone hold this
Hold
one.
up the guitar. I got
hold this
the
one.
guitar right here. I got this one. You need this one. That's teamwork.
Here, I'll put it right here.
All right. Oh, I didn't hold it. Now I hold this one.
Really complicated.
All right.
Yeah, I got
This is complicated. Okay, here we go. It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. He was the Bennettarium. Whoa, Brian showed up for rehearsal a bit early, about 24 hours too early.
Sorry about that. On the
Bennettarium. Oh boy, it was the Bennettarium. It's starting right now.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you
It's
next
starting
week.
right now?
And it's over now.
We'll see you another time, whenever the next one is.
Sorry, Brian. Didn't mean to put that into the archive of,
Sorry to put
of
you on
our
the spot.
podcast for the rest
That
of
was
it.
great.
Now everyone will know for the rest
Everyone
of
will know that Brian's way too efficient.
What a jerk.
He just constantly wants to work, and I don't know.
He shows up late and on the wrong day, but technically incredibly early.
Incredibly early. Okay, I just have to go and turn everything off now.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't know when the next one will be yet.
Bye.
Oh yeah, here you go. It was a lot of fun.